Today, students, we will be doing tissues. Tissues for basically class 8 and 9. For classes 8 and 9. Now first I'll discuss what you need to do in this chapter. What are the things that you should know and should memorize. Okay. So first of all, you need to know the definition of tissue. Proper definition of a tissue. Then how are plant and animal tissues different, or rather why are they different? We will be doing the reasons, and today we will be doing plant tissues. So you need to know the names of those tissues, and for each type of tissue you should know its structure, location, function and example. Okay. Plant tissues are broadly divided into two groups. The first one is meristematic tissue. And the second one is permanent tissue. Meristematic tissue is again divided into three parts according to the regions where they are found. The first one is apical. The second one is cambium tissue. Cambium or lateral meristem. It is also known as lateral meristematic tissue. And the third one is intercalary. For each tissue, you should know the structure, first point, then function, location and example for each one. Permanent tissues are of two types: simple permanent tissues and complex permanent tissues. Okay. Now, simple permanent tissues are again divided into three types and complex into two. The three types of simple permanent tissues are parenchyma, collenchyma and sclerenchyma. And the two types of complex tissues in plants are xylem and phloem. For each of these tissues, you should know their location, structure, function with an example where it is found on the plant body. Now plant tissues are different from animal tissues. Now how are they different? Or rather, why are they different? Number one point, we all know plants are fixed. Okay? They do not move. That means they don't need that much energy though required by animals, because animals generally move about in search of food, shelter, whatever. So animals need more energy. Since plants are fixed, they are composed mainly of supportive tissues. Supportive tissues, they are generally composed of supportive tissues. Yeah, major tissues are supportive. And supportive tissues are generally dead. They are not living. Okay. Now, since animals move about, animals consume more energy for their life activities. Animals consume more energy, so they constitute mainly of living tissues. Here is the difference. One difference between plants and animal tissues based on their nature. Now the second one is pattern of growth. Now in plants there are regions. Plants have regions that grow throughout their life. Throughout their lives. Okay. So growth is localized. At some points where growth is continuous throughout their lives. Now in animals growth is not localized. Rather it is uniform. Okay. So here there is another difference of the tissues present in plants and animal cells due to their pattern of growth. plants grow throughout their lives, whereas animals do not grow throughout their lives. After a time when animals are mature, they stop growing. But the cells that form the animal body are more or less uniform, and they contain living cells basically. And the third point is plants show sedentary existence. Sedentary existence means they are fixed to one place, but they have the property of making their own food. That is, they can carry on the vital process of photosynthesis, which animals cannot. But animals show active locomotion. Animals show active locomotion. Active locomotion, which is absent in plants. Animals show active locomotion, which is absent in plants. So animals have complex organ systems, complex organs and organ systems to move actively. So they have or complex organs and organ systems that are not present in plants.
Okay.
Before starting off with plant tissues, I would like to show you a general idea of what kind of tissues are found in what regions of plant. I have taken a twig here. It's a part of a stem. Okay. Now the plant tissues are broadly divided into meristematic tissues and permanent tissues. Now meristematic tissues consist of actively dividing cells. They consist of actively dividing cells. So they are present in the tips. See here, this tip, this tip, this tip, all the tips of stems and roots also. I can't show the root here, the root is missing here. The tips of stems and roots, they are formed of meristematic tissues because they keep on dividing, actively dividing and helping in the growth of the plant. Okay. Second one, meristematic tissue is of three types. The second one is apical. The meristematic tissue that is found in the tip of the plant, those are called apical meristems. The meristematic tissue that is found, okay, look here, the stem, as it gradually grows, the upper part of the stem is thinner compared to the lower part. The lower part, as you can see, it is broader, always broader. Whenever you see a stem, the portion of a stem or a plant, you see that it gradually, the broadness of the bark gradually decreases as you grow upwards. That is because the older meristematic tissues, when they are converted into permanent tissues, they form regions that protect the plant and provide support to the plant. And the tissue that increases the width of the stem or the root, width, okay, the tissue that increases the width of the stem or the root, that tissue is known as cambium. Okay, it increases the thickness of the stem. You can see in any plant, you can see the thickness gradually keeps on increasing as you go downwards. Okay, that is lateral meristematic tissue. And the third one, intercalary. For intercalary, you see this is the node. Well, now this has grown into a branch. This is the node. First of all, when this shoot was young, here there might be a leaf. The leaf gradually grows and the axillary bud that grows into the branch. Okay, in this region also, the region between two successive nodes, this region also keeps on increasing as you go downwards, decreasing as you grow upwards, and increasing as you go downwards. And that meristem that increases this length, that is intercalary meristem. It is found here below, and that helps in increasing the length between two nodes, and hence it increases the length of the shoot and branches. Okay, the three kind of meristems are there. Now the second tissue, permanent tissue, simple permanent tissue and complex permanent. Simple permanent tissue, for example, leaf. As you see, the leaf is the plant is basically green in color. So there is a lot of chlorophyll in the plant, and chlorophyll is contained in parenchyma, simple tissue. So simple tissue can be found, can be seen largely in a plant, and when you see a twig. The second is complex tissue that consists of xylem and phloem, that is located in the stem, and the midrib. The midrib of the leaves, they contain the veins of the leaf. They contain the vascular tissues, vascular bundle, that is the complex tissue, xylem and phloem collectively, because they conduct water and minerals from root to the upper part of the plant, and the food that is prepared in the leaf is carried down and carried upwards also to the new leaves and downwards to all the other parts of the plant. Conducting tissues, xylem and phloem. Okay, this is a basic idea of what are plant tissues on a twig. That you see a twig. Whenever you see a twig, you can imagine the tissues present here. Okay, I have started explaining the plant tissue here. The first part of the plant tissue is the meristematic tissue, which consists of which is capable of dividing actively. Okay, the cells have the special ability to divide actively. First, you have to do the structure here. I have drawn a plant cell here to show the difference between the structure of a meristematic cell and a normal plant cell. See, the normal plant cell has a large vacuole, but in this vacuoles are generally absent. If the vacuole is present also, then it is also too small. Okay, the first point in structure is that the cell walls are thin here in meristematic tissue, and the cells are basically cubical in shape. Cytoplasm is dense here. There is a large prominent nuclei that can be seen in this center. There are no intercellular spaces between the cells, and the vacuoles are absent or small. These are the points that are to be remembered. Remember to know the structure of the meristematic tissue. The location of this tissue is growing tips of roots and stems near the node. You can write any of the three locations that are mentioned in the three types. Now, according to the regions where they are present on the plant, there are three types: apical meristem, lateral meristem, and intercalary meristem. Now, lateral apical meristem, the location of apical meristem is growing tips of plants and roots. The location of lateral meristem is the lateral side of stem and roots, and the location of intercalary meristem is near the node. Function of each is function. It increases the length of the stems and root. This one increases the thickness of plants, and this one helps in intermediate growth. Now, when meristematic cells lose the ability to divide any further, then the cells take up a permanent shape, size, and function. When this tissue loses the ability to divide, the cells ultimately take up a permanent shape, size, and function, and that is when differentiation occurs. And when differentiation occurs, it leads to the development of the permanent tissue. Now, the second important plant tissue that is permanent tissue. Based on function, there are three types of permanent tissue: protective in nature, supportive in nature, and conducting in nature. When it comes to protective permanent tissue, the epidermal layer of cells that cover the plant body, entire plant body, they provide protection to the plant. Okay, depending on the location of the epidermal cells on the leaf, on the stem, they may vary in their structure or with an extra layer of cuticle to help the plant to adapt with the condition, adapt with the environment in which it is living. Now, epidermal cells are generally flat and they have no intercellular spaces between them. They are flat cells with a centrally located nucleus in them, and they are protective in nature. Now, when the supportive tissue, permanent tissue, is of three types: parenchyma, collenchyma, and sclerenchyma. Now, always remember, in a tissue, the structure of the cells always suit to the function the tissue has been designed for. Okay. Now, the first parenchyma tissue is living. The second collenchyma tissue is also a living tissue, but the third one, sclerenchyma, is a dead tissue. Parenchyma is living. It consists of, now these three diagrams are TS, transverse sections of tissues. Okay, but for the xylem, I have drawn the longitudinal section because it is easy to understand all the location of the cells in a longitudinal section of xylem tissue. So for these tissues, for these three simple permanent tissues, I have drawn the transverse section. Now, parenchyma cells, the structure of parenchyma cells are such that they are unspecialized. They have thin cell walls. Intercellular spaces are present and cells are loosely arranged. And the main function of this tissue is to store food for the plant. Now, when parenchyma contains chlorophyll, it is called chlorenchyma, and when in aquatic plants it contains large air spaces, so it helps the plant to float on water, then that parenchyma is known as erenchyma. Okay, and it is located mainly in the cortex of stems and leaves. Cortex region of stems and leaves. When you study the structure of a stem and a leaf, then you will be able to understand what is cortex region. Now, next is collenchyma. Next permanent tissue coming in simple permanent tissue. Next point is collenchyma. It is also a living tissue. Now, the structure here, the cells are elongated. The cells are elongated here, and they are thickened at the corners. Okay, they are thickened at the corners with lignin deposit. They are thickened at the corners. No, lignin is not present here. Lignin is present in sclerenchyma. Sorry. They are thickened at the corners and they have very little intercellular space between them. Their important function is providing flexibility and giving mechanical support to the plant. What is giving mechanical support? Here mechanical support means the plants are generally strong. When you pull a leaf or pull a root out of the earth, you can feel the strength in them. That support is given by these types of cells, collenchyma cells. The location here is petiole, leaf veins. These are two main regions where you can find collenchyma tissue. And this is a rough sketch of how the cells are arranged. Now third one is sclerenchyma. Here the cells are dead. Structure is such that these cells are long and narrow. These cells are long and narrow dead cells. They are thickened due to the lignin deposit. Lignin is a kind of substance that makes the tissue stress free. Okay, stress does not mean the stress, mental stress. Stress means if it prevents it from any shock or something like that. Gives strength. The function of the tissue, it makes the plant hard and stiff, and so it provides strength to the plant. There are no intercellular spaces in this tissue. The location is around vascular bundles. The husk of coconut, that is very strong, and it is also used to make rope. That is itself a sclerenchymatous tissue. The hard covering of seeds and nuts, they are all sclerenchymatous tissue, but they are dead. But they provide strength to the plant. Now coming to the next, complex permanent tissue, they are of two types, xylem and phloem. Xylem is a very important tissue because its function is to conduct water and minerals absorbed by the roots to the upper parts of the plant. The xylem, the structure of xylem is such that it is made up of tracheids, vessels, xylem parenchyma and xylem fibers. These four kinds of structures or cells are present. This tissue does not contain only one type of cell, it contains different types of cells, but they all are suited to carry on the function that it is made for. Okay, now in this tissue only xylem parenchyma is living, all the other cells are dead in nature. The xylem parenchyma portion is living and the other cells are dead in nature. Tracheids, they are all thick walled lignified cells, because when water flows through them with pressure, the walls have to withstand the pressure. Okay, so all the dead cells have thick lignified walls with large cavities to allow the water to flow through them. Vessels are long tubes like structures meant for transportation. Cell walls are hard and thick. Okay, all suited for the very important function that xylem performs. The xylem parenchyma part that is living, it only helps in the storage of food and hence provides energy to the tissue to carry on its function effectively. Okay, and the main function of xylem is the upward transportation of water and minerals, salts. Okay, here we finish off with xylem. The second complex permanent tissue is phloem. The main function of phloem is to provide for both upward and downward movement of prepared food. The food prepared by the leaves of the plant are gradually manufactured to all the parts of the plant through this tissue only. Okay, the xylem and phloem together are known as vascular bundles, and they carry out the conducting function in the plant body. Now this tissue comprises of sieve tubes, companion cells, phloem parenchyma and phloem fiber. All the cells in this tissue are living except for phloem fibers. Phloem fibers are dead in nature and all the other parts are living. This is a transverse section of phloem tissue and this is a longitudinal section of phloem tissue. Here you can see sieve plates, sieve tubes, phloem parenchyma and companion cells. Okay. The detailed structure of every part is not in your syllabus, so you don't need to do that. Only do the diagram properly and the function, the name of all the type of cells that are present in this tissue. Here we finish off with the plant tissue.